Hello. How are you all? I am, as usual, just connecting here to everywhere. So you have to just be patient with me as we go through all of the process here. All right, looks like we're connected. Okay, hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of of Live at Lunch with myself, Jen G, advanced holistic nutritionist and women's hormone health coach. So this month we have been talking all about smoothies and how to build them appropriately for your health goals, what to put in them, what to avoid, how to do it, the right way, how to stop kiboshing your goals, that sort of thing, right? So, sorry, my phone was notifying me that I'm live right now. That's distracting. So, today what I wanted to share with you is actually 10 easy proteins that you can add to your smoothie that are not a protein powder. So earlier this week, or I think even yesterday, I shared 3 reasons why we should be adding protein to our smoothies. And I talked a little bit about how in the past, when I wasn't adding protein to my smoothies, how they really weren't fulfilling me. I was being left really hungry, right? So what I've done is I've actually compiled like a little collection of things here that I'm going to show you. But in the meantime, if you could just hit that heart button, let me know that you're here and that you can hear me and see me okay on every platform that you may be watching me from. And maybe just let me know in the chat, give me a hi, Jen, in the chat to let me know that the chat is working as well. Because this is a new system and I'm still working out the kinks on it. So I definitely appreciate any help and support that I can get on it for sure. Now, so in terms of protein, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but adding protein to our smoothies does help us feel fuller longer. It helps us get some of those micronutrients that we need in addition to our macronutrients. And then even for women's hormone health and menstrual cycle health, it's important that we have good quality high levels of protein in our body, adequate protein, in order to support hormone synthesis and regulation. So today our 10 easy proteins are actually really fun and simple, and they're ones that I have on hand almost all of the time here in the house because they're actually very multi-purpose. And so I love that I can use them either in my smoothies or in granola or on different oatmeal recipes. They're just very, very multi-purpose. There's the word. Now, later this week, I am going to be sharing about protein powders, like how to choose your protein powder, how to know if it's the right one for you, that sort of thing. I'll have to excuse me. It's another scorcher here today, so I am just parched. Okay. So we're not talking about protein powders tonight or today, but I'm going to give you other protein options that you can be using in place of protein powders if you are not using a protein powder, or you prefer not to, or you haven't found one that you love. Now, I will preface this by saying that tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am hosting a really great event. It's going to be all online, all about how to build a supercharged smoothie. So I'm going to be covering all kinds of things, but some of the topic for you, just some of the headlines we're covering is, how to build a basic smoothie. So the components that go into that, choosing the right ingredients, adding extras for more nutrients. So this is where we're really looking at fine tuning that smoothie process, getting more variety, how to do so. Certain superfoods that actually can supercharge your smoothies. So taking it from a basic fruit and veggie mix and drink to something that's much more elevated and can really help you fine tune your health goals. How to create smoothies that are great for energy, fat loss, and even post-workout muscle repair. And then I'm going to be sharing some family-friendly tips that help sneak in more veggies to your smoothies, as well as more about my favorite plant-based protein powder and how to choose a protein powder. So of course, some of this is going to be in my episodes this week here on my channel, but of course also I'm going to be sharing a ton more in tonight's event. So if you're interested in tonight's event, let me know in the comments. You can just say supercharged smoothies and I can send you the invitation to that for you to join us. It's going to be a really great time. So let's get into this. So top 10 of my favorite proteins to add to your smoothies. And I will say that I only started using a protein powder maybe about 3 years ago. And before that, I was dead set against using them. But I have found that it has really elevated the flavor of my smoothies, the enjoyment of them, of course, the nutrient value, all of that, right? But these are my favorite here. So first and foremost, one of the best things you could add to your smoothies would be your Hemp Hearts. So I'll just take these out really quick and show you what they look like here. Oh, I don't know if you can actually see those. There's quite a bit of a glare. Okay, there they are. So these are Hemp Hearts, and they contain very concentrated levels of protein. I think it's like 3 tablespoons. It's like 10 grams of protein, which is actually significant for 3 small tablespoons, right? But they also contain a lot of iron and zinc. So you're also helping to get a lot of those micronutrients as well. Your next option, which is again one of my favorites, would be chia seeds. So chia seeds are really great for boosting the calcium intake in your smoothies as well. So if you are looking to add more calcium to your smoothie, that's definitely something that you could be doing by adding chia seeds. Now, I will say if you are going to add chia seeds to your to your smoothie, you're going to want to drink your smoothie relatively quickly after you blend it, because chia seeds are actually very gelatinous. They absorb water. And so the longer they are sitting in your smoothie, the thicker your smoothie is going to be, and it's going to become more of a jelly-like substance. So you're going to want to consume your smoothie, basically after you make it, if you are using chia seeds. But they're a fantastic one. I love them. And in fact, compared to dairy milk, they contain more calcium, I think it's like gram for gram, than dairy milk, which is amazing, right? Your next option are flax seeds. So flax seeds, what I recommend for you buying them is buying them in their whole seed form. And I'll just see if I can pull some of these out to show you these. I don't know if you'll be able to see them there. There, you can see them a little bit, I guess. Okay. So buy them in their whole seed form, and then get yourself a little coffee grinder and grind them fresh, either right before you use them, or make a small jar of it and put it in the fridge. They can go rancid very quickly if you buy them pre-ground and they're not refrigerated. So I do recommend just buying them in their whole seed form. Now, if you are trying to get ahead of some of that menstrual cycle drama that you might live with, I strongly recommend having flax seeds on hand, because you can actually do this really neat biohacking trick with your body, in that by consuming 1 tablespoon of flaxseed in the first 2 weeks of your cycle, you can actually help regulate some of the symptoms you experience during all 4 weeks. And that's called seed cycling. I have more information on seed cycling in my Hormonal Bliss program. So if you're interested in learning more about seed cycling, just say seed cycling in the comments and I can let you know more about that another time. And then the next one that I really love would be coconut milk kefir. Now, I actually don't have any on hand because we finished it. But coconut milk kefir actually contains, I think it's usually mixed with like a pea protein. So it usually has about 8 grams of protein in 1 cup, and it adds a ton of probiotics to your smoothie. So it really, it's one of those superfoods that really just elevates the nutrient quality of your smoothie, but of course your protein as well. So that's number 4. So number 5 would be tofu. So this is one that most people don't think of, but you could actually use tofu in your smoothies. Now, tofu is a very bland flavor, so it actually blends quite well and doesn't change the taste or texture too much of your smoothie. Usually you can hide it behind some fruits and vegetables. So I recommend using like a soft tofu. They tend to contain more protein than, say, a silken tofu, although a silken tofu will blend very nicely. So tofu is always a really great option as well. Don't knock it till you try it, I promise. Next would be nuts and seeds. So, we kind of covered like those 3 like micro seeds that I live and swear by. So that's the hemp hearts, the chia seeds, and the flax seeds. But other nuts and seeds are great ways to add more protein to your smoothies as well. So things like sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, I would recommend that you're using unsalted ones. There's no need to add salt to your smoothies. But other great options would be cashews or almonds. You could also add Brazil nuts, which are great as well. And then our next option would be nut and seed butters. So if you don't have any nuts and seed on hand, of course, you could always use their butter component or equivalent. So you add in some peanut butter or almond butter. Tahini is really great as well, although it does have a bit of a bitter flavor. So tahini, almond butter, cashew butter, pumpkin seed butter, sunflower seed butter, wow butter. These are all great options to add a little bit more protein to your smoothies. Keep in mind that nuts and seeds will also add additional fats to your smoothies and additional calories. So what you don't want to do is go loading up on all of these at once, because you're really going to take a smoothie that should have maybe been, equivalent to one meal for you, which is maybe around 400 calories, and you're going to put it in the 600, 700, 800 calorie range, which is just way too much for us to consume at one time when we're in one sitting, right? All right, so then your next option would be Greek yogurt, or equivalent if you're non-dairy. So look for a non-dairy based yogurt that does contain protein. It's usually like a mixture of pea protein in it, or using a soy yogurt, which can help increase that as well. So thirsty. Okay. So that's a really great way to add more protein. I think like one, like 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt adds something like 8 to 10 grams of protein in your smoothie. So it's a really great way. And it also really helps sort of thicken it and give it this really smooth texture. So that's a really great option as well. Your next option would be oats. So you could add a couple tablespoons of oats, just the quick cooking flaked oats. They're really great as well. They add some protein to there as well. They also help thicken it. So I don't always recommend using a whole lot of these unless you were going for a flavor of like apple pie or something. I actually made an apple pie smoothie the other day, and it was just so good. So good. And then your last option would be to use dairy-based milk or soy milk. So soy milk in 1 cup has about 8 grams of protein, which is very similar to a dairy-based milk. So you could always use that as well, using that in place of your liquid or as a part of your liquid, right? Now, I will say that I have been known to put cooked chickpeas in my smoothies before, and I will say, like, don't knock it till you try it, because it actually wasn't bad. I was a little bit hesitant to try it. So these ones are dry. They haven't been cooked, but in case you haven't seen what a chickpea looks like, that's what it is. And so you can use cooked chickpeas, and like a half a cup has about 8 or 9 grams of protein, and it's also very thick, so that actually really thickens your smoothie. And I love putting these in a smoothie that's flavored kind of like Chunky Monkey, so like banana and chocolate, and then this in there. Or if I was going for like a cookie dough based smoothie, guys, don't these sound great? Believe it or not, I actually eat these on a regular basis as a meal, even though they taste and sound like a dessert, and they replace a whole meal on their own right there. So there you have it, 10 easy proteins that you can add to your smoothies that are not a protein powder, plus that bonus one that I just shared with you. But I'd love to know, let me know in the comments, which one is your favorite? Which one is your go-to when you're not using a protein powder? And which one are you surprised about that you're like, oh, I should give that a try, see how it feels, how it tastes, if I like it, if I can sneak it into my kids' smoothies as well, right? So let me know in the comments which one of these 10 plus 1 options are your favorite. And then, as always, be sure to like, share, and follow me for more healthy living tips. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me again today. Have yourselves a wonderful day.